Gary, we don't have anything related to overdose on this item right here.
Oh, yes, we
This is
do.
an item on accountability and the auditing process.
Yeah, in accordance with the ministry, and this is from the Board of Health background, quote, paragraph 1, in accordance with the ministry's published standards, protocols, and guidelines, using provincial funding, which comes from the taxpayer. And then item 7, public health modernization, paragraph, page 1, second paragraph. We clearly heard and responded to the need for more extensive consultations across the province on how best to move forward. Page 2, first paragraph. The rise in unprecedented emergencies such as opioids. Clearly, Ministry of Health has not moved forward on the overdose protocol, which increases morbidity and mortality anyone in need of respiratory assist.
Gary, that's item number 7.
That's right, I'm just...
So if you'd like to do, this item we're dealing with is the audit process. So if you could keep your remarks to the item in front of us, please.
Yeah, I'm worried about the taxpayers spending a needless, untold millions of dollars, so many left with permanent brain damage, oxygen deprivation. You've taught millions of people. It all started here September 2011, and it's been going across the country ever since. Taught millions of people all the signs of respiratory emergency, deny rescue breathing, give chest compressions to a beating heart, and they're doing it. So I'm just wondering about accountability. Who's accountable? Is anybody going to be held accountable? Here's a letter from the Executive Director at Health Canada. Explaining that the different provinces have different protocols. Why is that? Humankind is not a... I'll quote you the Bible. Genesis 2:7, and God breathed the breath of life into humankind. John 20:22, and Jesus breathed upon his disciples. When you crucify someone, they suffocate to death.
Gary, can I ask you, we're dealing with an item on audits. So if you could keep your comments to the item related to the audit process, please.
Yeah, I'm wondering why you haven't been audited all the money that the taxpayer is losing needlessly. Why haven't you audited yourself? Aren't you concerned for your own lives? Yeah, suffer an injury or illness? They put you comatose and people are eagerly going to start pounding on your chest? You're not worried, eh? You're worried about being sued, maybe? There was a coroner's inquest. Dr. Elaine Davila was there. Jury's verdict was, do not deny rescue breathing from anyone.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for Gary? Seeing none, thank you very much, Gary.
You have a good day, eh?
To this item? Derek, you're registered to speak. Derek, you'll have 5 minutes.
I just want to point out this is part of an affidavit that was admitted into the record by Justice Kavanaugh when Dion Renee took the police board to court. This is a City of Toronto lawyer telling then Councillor Mammoliti that basically when people come to speaker, they can talk about whatever they want. Information.
Those are your 5 minutes.
Which is fraud. Concealing information from you is fraud.
Are there any questions for the speaker? Seeing none, thank you very much.
I didn't know this place was so much fun.
Thank you. All right, are there any other speakers on this?
You betcha. Bunch of mass murderers and Joe Cressy can't save his own life, hey Joe? And knows all about it. There's hundreds of causes of breathing emergency. They need air. Joe says, nah, just give them chest compressions to a person who's alive. David McEwen, MD, past medical officer of health for Toronto. And then we have Giorgio Mammoliti asking a question. Anybody been in jail? Anybody charged? Because Dr. McEwen has taught millions of people all the signs of breathing emergency, deny rescue breathing, pound on a beating heart. So don't suffer any of the hundreds of causes of breathing emergency, because there's millions out there eagerly going to pound on your beating heart.
Thank you, Chair.
Councilor Mammoliti.
The study that you're referring to, what's it called again?
It was a study that Dr. Ference, who just spoke to us, conducted, and it's from the Ontario Tobacco Research Unit.
What's the name of it again?
The name of the study?
You referred to it in answering Councillor Karygiannis' question.
Yes, I did. I didn't refer to it by name. I'm not sure what it was called when it was published, but it was a study of air quality in establishments in Toronto where hookah is being used.
Strictly Toronto.
Yes.
Okay. Has anybody been actually charged at all or taken to court in this matter?
Well, as I say, there is no legislation restricting hookah broadly or non-tobacco.
My question is, in Toronto,
Yes.
has anybody in this industry, the owners of these establishments or otherwise, been charged and convicted?
The only charges that I'm aware of have had to do with the presence and sale of contraband tobacco.
Not the hookah.
No, because that's not regulated currently, and the recommendation is that it be regulated.
So nobody's been charged with the hookah or the shisha.
Nobody has been
It's here in
charged under
Toronto.
a law that doesn't yet exist.
It's not what I asked. It's not what I'm asking. Okay?
Councilor Mammoliti.
I'm asking. I only have 5 minutes, and it's irritating as hell when they don't answer the question. The question is, did anyone get charged
I gotta interject.
with? You're not.
Hold on.
You can't do that. You
Councilor
can't do that.
Mammoliti.
On the
You
basis
can't
of
interject
some
as staff.
alignment of
You can't.
staff.
You can't do
Guys,
that as staff.
I can do that
No,
as
you
staff.
can't.
I've got
You can't.
the
It's not
bylaw
part
right
of the
here.
procedural bylaw, sir.
It is.
You can't do that.
It is.
No, you can't.
That's under
You're not
section
an elected
27.
official.
Councilor
You're not an
Mammoliti.
elected official.
I'm permitted to make
You're
a
not.
statement.
I'm warning you that you stop now. You are
You
ejected.
can't allow staff to interject like
Yes,
this.
Yes, I can.
Security, get Councilor Mammoliti out of this room.
I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon?
Councilor Mammoliti, you've been obstructing the functionality and the proceedings of this
And
meeting.
how have I
from
done that?
The very
Did
beginning.
I interject? How did I do that?
You've been asked over and over again to act
To do what?
with civility and decorum.
I would ask you to play back any of the tapes that show any of that, Mr. Chairman.
And you
Any of them.
were speaking at all
Any of them.
times
I asked
as
questions.
offensive,
All I've done.
disrespectful in a parliament.
I've asked questions.
And your language is not acceptable.
Which languages are they, Mr. Chairman?
And therefore, you are being ejected this meeting.
For what? I challenged the chair on this. For what?
Here, I challenge the chair too. Because they all know down there what David McEwen is wrong. Because a 5-year-old child knows what he's teaching millions of people is getting a good doctor killed too. Breathing emergency. There's hundreds of causes of it. What do you think you do for a breathing emergency? Next is what they're teaching millions of people to do. This is what the government's been teaching millions of people to do since 2011 in September, using your tax dollar to go around teaching people to do this. And a 5-year-old child should know that person's alive, needs rescue breathing ASAP, their heart's beating. In this recovery position, that can be bad too. Anybody under oxygenated, your brain is dying. Every cell, tissue, and organ is dying, lack of oxygen. They taught millions of people to do that. and they're following the doctor's orders because they believe a doctor is not a mass murderer willing to kill doctors and everyone else. But it's happening. No brainer. South Riverdale Community Health Center has an overdose prevention site, and this is what you do. Teaching people to do this, saving non-drug overdoses in the process. It's rescue breathing, because there's nothing wrong with your heart. Your heart doesn't stop from a breathing emergency until you're brain dead from lack of oxygen. And then chest compressions only is just going to make sure you stay dead. CPR isn't going to be too much help either. Because you're brain dead. That's what causes your heart to stop from a breathing emergency. And never ever chest compressions only. Did you notice on the last one, there's a nice blue background? Blue. That's the color of anybody's skin dying lack of oxygen. Blue. Cyanotic blue. Oxygen deprivation. And then they get bluer and bluer and bluer. So you give them a few breaths and they start turning pink again. You know the old saying, in the pink, meaning healthy, pink oxygenated blood. And let's get some air. You look a little blue around the gills. Those are truisms. And it's in your Bible, Old and New Testament, of rescue breathing. And I knew it at 5 years old. If you've got a breathing emergency, it's a breathing emergency. But for some reason, millions of people are following the doctor's orders, killing doctors. Doesn't matter who you are, they are murdering you, busting all your insides up with chest compressions to a beating heart. Government's going to get sued for billions of dollars, and the taxpayer pays for that too. That's it. On your tax dollar, the good Dr. Joseph Mengele is counseling mass murder. And people don't understand the naloxone. It fails to work 15% of the time. Rescue breathing at the overdose prevention site, 67% of the people wake up with rescue breathing only. So you don't have to give them no naloxone, because there's side effects to naloxone. Everybody thinks, oh, naloxone, magic, magic. It's not magic. I'm having to pull parents off giving their children chest compressions, non-drug overdoses. Parents are killing their own children under doctor's orders. Parents are committing suicide after they find out they killed their own children. Man picks up a gun and shoots 9 people because they killed his brother. I told Public Health back in 2011, somebody's going to kill their own child. When they find out, they're going to be so distraught, they're going to come in here with a gun and shoot all your staff, and the judge is going to let them go, because the judge would say, I would have done the same thing. Taught me how to murder my child.